Um, on this side, you can see my original idea. And my final product sort of morphed from this original idea into the final piece, which is, in my world, not surprising. I took feedback, I got different ideas. It's sort of the same idea with an outline when I write a paper or if I do a presentation for a professional organization. I come up with the basic fundamental idea, and then as I do it or as I think about it, as it sort of runs around in my head, I tweak, move, shuffle, and just alter the thing until I get it to where I want. I did do the OSWD piece. I added in CSS Zen Garden to that. And it created, from my students' point of view, a video which was incomplete and too fast for them to follow. So what they wanted me to do is one of each, which is what I eventually wound up doing. Over here, if you take a look at that, what I wound up doing was a separate video on Zen Garden, a separate video on the OSWD. So I showed them the OSWD, what you download, what you get when you download. I also showed them Zen Garden, and I went through Zen Garden a little bit more fully for them to be able to understand what you could do and what you could do with it. Not only contribute to it, but sort of steal from what's already there and use it for your site design. Then I broke Amaya into, it was originally 2 videos, and now I've created 3 out of this. I did do a little bit longer piece on downloading because of the student feedback. They wanted more basic fundamentals in Amaya, as in how to download it, what do I do with it when I'm done, how do I configure this thing, how do I get it to work for me, professor? And so that's what I gave them. And then, of course, there's the the piece on how to load a page, how to just build and dump some stuff in, how to use the GUI, and how to do the CSS part. They weren't actually in need of help with the CSS. That's cascading style sheets for this. I mean, once they've got the basics down, they were pretty well on their way to being able to do cascading style sheets, and so they said that I could leave a lot of that out. They could figure that out on their own once they've got to this piece. All right, so that's what I did. I made them in QuickTime Player, and so you get a move file. You can export that as, you notice down here, you can export that as 720, and that's all nice and well and good. If you go up here to File and Export, you notice you can go to 720p or you go to 480p. 480p is too small, as in screen resolution, screen size. They just could not see what I was doing. That was my other piece of feedback. I did one in 1080, one in 720, one in 480. They told me 1080 was beautiful, but it took too darn long to download. 720 was good enough. And the download speed, it was sort of a balance between download speed and being able to see everything I was doing. And 480 was just way too small. They hated it. So I didn't do 480. I settled on the 720 for all my exports. I was using a different converter to do my MOV to MP4s. There's a certain amount of compression that goes on with MP4 that's not there with MOV. Get a little bit more richer file with an MOV. But again, everybody's got a player for MP4, right? So I went to EasyWMV. This program is a freebie. It's really designed to take WMV files, which are only good for Windows, because it's Windows Meta Video. That's WMV, and convert it to something which is useful for everybody, which is generally MP4. So that's what I was using it for, so that I could convert some Windows files that I had and Windows files that I had found for my students. And what I found is that you can drag and drop an MOV file as well, and it will convert it to an MP4. All right, so I use these to convert all my MP4s, to get where I wanted to go. The blog it was useful from my standpoint because it was a device that I could use and call up just about anywhere, and I didn't have to carry all the files with me. Like that, little piece there, instead of carrying around a file with that scan in it or an outline file, I could just, log onto the internet, pull this thing up, click on it, and go, that's what I need to do now. The other pieces of the blog that we were doing for the class, it's nice, but it's, again, from my standpoint, I'm a science guy, science and engineering, and it's like not my thing, really. It was nice to play, and it was nice to, to do all sorts of stuff, but not really. The biggest thing I have to say that I got out of doing all this was a better appreciation for video screencasts, and how they can be used and how beneficial they are for classes. With all the loss of snow days, I started doing this simply out of necessity, and it worked beautifully. So those are my, big take-home points for doing the project and doing the, doing the class. I am definitely going to revise those videos for 155 at least one more time, because I've got the students giving me one last set of feedback right before finals, because they are upon us even as we speak. The second piece for the self-evaluation, how do you view the role of technology in teaching and learning? For those of us who have been doing this a while, technology is not, this thing which is sitting in front of you right now, this computer. I go all the way back to overheads. Overheads are still technology, and it's cheesy technology for some of our students right now, but it works. Anything that works, any port in a storm at this point, because you can have a smart board in your classroom, and I do. I've got smart boards in my lab. I've got smart board in my classroom, and you still need to know how to teach. Right? Because that computer dies, your internet connection dies, that bulb blows out, and you can't throw up your hands and go, well, I quit for today because we can't do anything. The smartboard is out. We don't have time for that. I don't have patience for people that do that, quite honestly. And, there have been more than one time where, as a department chair, I have fired an adjunct because they did that, and they, squandered good class time. The smart board dies, too bad. You should have a set of notes. There's the board. Start writing. Start doing. You should still be able to teach. So technology should never be a crutch. It should never be something that keeps you or inhibits you from being able to teach. A good teacher is a good teacher is a good teacher. The technology just makes you better, and sometimes if you're mediocre, the technology can make you a whole lot better. And knowing the technology just to keep even with our students and to keep them engaged is an absolute must today. But at some point, they also need to disengage from all the electronics, which are welded to their appendages, and they still need to be able to engage these little gray cells between their between their ears, their brains, and think. Technology will not remove critical thinking skills from all of this. And some of our students, they don't do that. So that's a problem that we have to get over. Right?